What a way to end the day. So just a couple of themes, relationships, the rise of evil technology, and the impending end of days. So I would watch Terminator this weekend, get some tips. What are the stories? Who wants to hear them? And again, for who and for what? I feel like that is a theme. So, all right. If you signed up for dinner, please meet at the restaurant you signed up for at the time indicated on the sign-up sheet. You can let the host or hostess know that you're there for the AFA conference, and they'll show you to your table. And we'll have a sponsor or sponsors at each restaurant just to help facilitate conversation. There are extra proceedings and notebooks in the back if you need to bring any back to your organization or you need extras. We will be meeting back in this space tomorrow at 9 a.m. for day 2. If you look on the back of your conference badge, you'll see a sticker. That color is your group for tomorrow. We're going to have 3 tracks for tomorrow. Each group will, at some point, be doing a self-guided tour of the Discovery Center. We'll be having a guided tour of the Gates Archive, or we'll be participating in our World Cafe, where we will have table discussions on some of the themes that emerged from today's work. But really, to wrap up, to really bring us home today, I have the very great pleasure of introducing Jack Meyers, president of the Rockefeller Archive Center, and he is going to officially close out this first day of our conference. Jack?
Thanks so much, Andrea. I have lots of thanks to say, but on all of our behalfs for what happened today. But I felt as the head of a research archive, I had to end today to say just a few words about, where all this information, or at least a lot of the information that you're gathering, is, I hope, going to go someday, which is, to make it publicly available. That's what we do. We're open to researchers of all kinds. And I think there are just a couple points that I think are worth bearing in mind, using some words that have come up today. 2 of the words we've heard a lot are accountability and transparency. And certainly nothing makes a foundation more accountable or transparent than opening their records for research. Accountability and transparency aren't quite I think in the foundation context, they don't quite mean the same thing. And permit me for a minute, just a historical example. The very first foundation that we can recognize as a kind of modern American foundation was founded by George Peabody in 1867, something called the Peabody Education Fund. And after the fund had been working for several years, they produced a report. And this was the first report ever produced by a foundation. And it makes absolutely fascinating reading because, they didn't know there weren't any rules for what this should look like. And they threw everything into this report. And it's accountable in the sense that it provides all the information about what the fund had done, what they'd funded, who they'd funded. But they also provided information about how they made their decisions, what their decision-making process was like, how they developed their strategies. And when I looked at this, and I thought, wow, this is so amazing, because never again, I think, did a foundation ever put in its report information like that. How are we doing what we do? How are we thinking? This is a kind of, the accountability is always there, where everybody's telling you what they do. But how to do it, it kind of disappeared. But it comes back again when an archive becomes publicly accessible. And that's when that kind of transparency becomes much more apparent. The other word that I picked up a lot on today, and it's in the title of the conference, is community. Foundations are they're part, if you can see from Barb's charts, it's an ecological system, right? I mean, our grantees are as much part of that ecology as anything. And I think that, again, foundations sometimes forget that when researchers come to their archive, many of them will be interested in the foundation, most of them will not. Most of them are coming to those archives because of all the grantees and the work of those grantees. That's what they're really trying to find out. And, you know, as a byproduct of what a foundation does, they collect vast amounts of information about their grantees. Your records are amazing repositories of tens of thousands of organizations and people around the world. And that's really what our researchers are looking for. In most cases, that's one of the most important things. It's because, you know, it's important to remember that it's all part of that community. So I just want to tie that back into why we're doing these meetings, which is, in a sense, to establish a community of our own. And I want to thank everybody who was involved in pulling this together, because I think I'm really beginning to feel like we are part of community here, and that we can rely on each other. And I'm just especially grateful to our hosts, to the Gates Foundation, to Gates Archive, to the organizing committee for making this community really possible. So thank you very much.
You are free to go.